Hey guys, how's it going? This is Watch, and in this video we'll be doing a quick kind of overview comparison of the new Apple smartwatch that just came out, otherwise known as the Apple Watch, versus the Moto 360 that came out very recently as well. Now, the interesting thing about both of these two devices is they're really the top wearable devices that people are really interested in, whether you're on the Android camp or on the Apple camp. And they offer a lot of different features, so we're going to be going over kind of the highlights of each wearable device to figure out whether either of these devices are right for you. Now, looking at the physical attributes of both of these two smartwatches, you'll notice that there is certainly a different design philosophy behind them. The Apple Watch is certainly a more symmetrical square shape. Apple actually makes them available in two different sizes, a 38mm and a 42mm. So depending on your arm size or what you prefer, whether a larger watch or smaller, you do have a little bit of variety in that. With the Moto 360, it is a 46mm diameter in terms of its overall size and about 11.5 millimeters in terms of its overall thickness. Now, if you want to go out and purchase these watches, you're going to find that there's quite a bit of options in both sides. Now, certainly Apple right now is really huge on selection. Now, there are three core models of the Apple Watch, starting with the standard Apple Watch, which has a very nice aluminum chassis, which is stainless steel and a very beautiful stainless steel construction with sapphire crystal glass, so very strong indeed. They also have a sport watch version of that, which is about 30% lighter than the standard Apple Watch, and it also has Ion X glass, which is even more durable and stronger than the standard sapphire crystal glass that you have in the standard smartwatch. Now, Apple also has a third model, which is known as the Apple Watch Edition, otherwise known as the bling bling version of the Apple smartwatch. And this is covered in 18 karat gold construction. Now, typically gold is quite a malleable and soft metal, but luckily Apple has been working and forging this watch in the fires of Mount Doom, and they have actually made it twice as strong as regular gold, if you can believe that. But this is going to be certainly at a higher price point than the other two watches we talked about. Now, in terms of models and options, the Moto 360 is a little bit more simpler. It comes in two basic colors in terms of the stainless steel, a darker finish and a lighter finish, as well as three different types of leather straps. So you do have a little bit of variety. Of course, not as much with the Apple Watch. Now, in terms of the overall build quality and finish, obviously the Apple Watch is going to be up with their high standards of quality control, and we'll have to get our hands on it to really get a good experience of how the watch actually feels in your wrist and wearing it on a day-to-day basis in terms of comfortability and everything like that. So stay tuned for the full comparison of us physically having these two devices. But the Moto 360 again is built very well. It's built of metal components, and it has an excellent finish, and it's using Corning Gorilla Glass 3, which should again be very durable and scratch resistant for most of your day-to-day activities. Now, the Moto 360 also has IP67 water resistant certification, so definitely don't be afraid to get it wet, and I'm sure the Apple smartwatch is pretty weather resistant too, but it doesn't have any official water resistant certification at this point. Now, one cool thing about the Apple Watch is that it does have a side dial known as a crown, which is going to allow you to do a couple of different things in the Apple OS of the smartwatch. Firstly, it's going to allow you to scroll through different information. If you press on it, it doubles as a home button, and there's a lot of different unique ways that you're going to use this dial to zoom in into photos or maps, and I'm sure with later app revisions and things like that, they're going to really use this one input device quite effectively. It also has a touchscreen display, which also has force-sensitive capacitive touch. So if you touch it regularly, it'll respond regularly. But if you forcefully tap it, it will respond differently depending upon what the application is. So definitely innovative and interestingly unique things that Apple is trying to do in making this small device as versatile and as capable as possible. Now the Moto 360 has a vibration motor, which will be handy for notifications and things like that. But one thing that the Apple Watch does, it has a taptic feedback, which they're calling, is basically a system that will give you a light tap on your wrist, and you won't really feel it, it won't hurt supposedly, and nobody can really hear it or even see it, but it gives you a nice way to check your notifications without hearing or looking at the device itself. And when you flip your hand over, it's going to turn on the screen and be pretty convenient. You're also going to be able to communicate with others by tapping on the device itself, and people with other Apple Watches will be able to receive that. The Apple Watch will go as far as even sending your heart pulse to another Apple Watch user, which is kind of weird, but it lets people know that you're still alive and breathing. Additionally, the Moto 360 also has a one single button, which allows you to do a couple of different things, as well as dual microphones. Now, both devices have their own voice recognition technology. We obviously have Siri on the Apple Watch side, and we have a Google voice recognition, the OK Google system on the Moto 360. Now, in terms of the operating systems that run behind these two devices, we obviously have a proprietary iOS-based operating system in the Apple Watch, which should work really well, and it's built for that hardware. Now, on the Moto 360 side, we have Android Wear, which is a universal standard for wearable devices. Now, the Moto 360 is uniquely designed to be in a 360 canvas, but Android Wear, from the looks of it, is really designed for a more square screen of what you would typically find on most smart wearable devices. Now, this is not a huge deal, but it certainly looks like that the Moto 360 wasn't optimally configured for Android Wear at this point. And hopefully we'll have updates in the future, but I'm sure that's not going to happen with the Apple Smartwatch. Now, both devices have a heart rate monitor and some sort of pedometer sensor, which will measure the distance in terms of how much you're walking or running or exercising, and both have their corresponding health-related exercise apps that will again track your day-to-day activities and let you know how many calories you're burning and everything like that. In terms of battery performance, both are going to allow you to use the devices pretty much all day, if not 2 days. These wearable devices don't use a lot of energy, and since they're on kind of briefly, and they're not really a main consumer device like a phone, you're probably going to be using it on and off throughout the day, making them pretty reliable since they have smaller screens. So definitely no big issues in terms of battery life. The Moto 360 also comes with a wireless charging dock, so you can charge the device with third-party wireless devices, so that's kind of cool that it has that. And the Apple Watch has their patented MagSafe technology, which just clips onto the back using their MagSafe technology that you find in their MacBooks and stuff like that. And that should be really convenient and pretty easy to use. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about is the overall price. The Moto 360 starts right now at $249.99, and the Apple Watch from the very basic model, the standard Apple Watch, will start at $349.99. Now, straight off the bat, that's a $100 difference, and if you're looking at those higher end gold version of the Apple Watch, we're going to see how much those really cost, but you're definitely paying a premium for that Apple device. And in terms of build quality, I think they're really kind of in par with each other for the most part. Now, you go out and try both the devices, take this video in comparison in terms of what kind of offers is unique to your personal needs and which best suits you. But hopefully this gives you a good idea on how these two devices compare against each other. And if you have any specific questions about anything I talked about in this video, please make sure to leave that on a comment down below. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and thank you so much for watching. We'll see you later. Take care.